And we're live. Hello, everybody, everyone, and welcome to this week's live. We have Goddess Phoenix Sky with us today. All right. If you have not already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you're notified when I go live or post new content. November is currently Customer Appreciation Month. That is the month that I launched my business, as well as my birthday month. So I will be adding after this post, I will be adding links to the website, and the promo codes is currently in the community tab, but y'all know I be forgetting to repost it. YouTube deletes it. So I'm going to post it in the comments on this so y'all still have somewhere to find it. It's also up on my Instagram and Facebook. So if you can't find it there, if you have me on Instagram and Facebook, it's on there also. All right. Make sure that you hit that notification bell because I'm going to be doing some random things, goodies for y'all, giveaways. But we're going to start out with the 10% off all services and products on the website, and make sure that you check those out. All right. So how I met you, you were on your self-love journey. And you were sharing that with everyone. How did that lead you to your creations? I when I met you, I'm not sure if you had the other two completed yet.
No,
okay.
I didn't.
Tell me about it.
I've always been a writer. I always wrote things down. My Goddess Phoenix Sky here, author, writing consultant, daughter, mother Isis. I started writing at a very young age, and so my first book is called Your Life, Your Purpose, No Explanations. It's also on Amazon. And that book, when I first wrote the book, I had went to Puerto Rico, and I had a vision that I was going to meet an old woman, and she was going to tell me stuff about my life.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find this damn old woman, and I couldn't find an old woman. So the day before I left to come back to New York, I went to a museum. It was like a ugly ass pink Pepto Bismol house, and I was like, "What in the hell is this? Ugh, gross!" But I want to go in there. So I went in, and there was a huge picture of her name is Doña Fela. She was the first female leader of Puerto Rico, and so the tour guide was like, "Oh, come upstairs. I can show you stuff about Doña Fela." So I went upstairs, and she had fans from different countries, dresses, stuff, and the lady was telling me that she was pretty much a person who loved children, had no children of her own. There was an orphanage in Puerto Rico. She loved the people of Puerto Rico. And Doña Fela gave me the only warmest, unconditional, loving hug I've ever felt in my life from a spirit. And I started bawling my eyes out like I just lost my mama. And my ex-husband at the time, before I knew I was gay, was looking at me like, "You okay? You smoked something? Like, what the fuck is going on?" And so I was like, "But she's just so loving, and I just love her." So it was like that.
Yeah.
So the tour guide was like, "Doña Fela has a message for you. You need to write your story. Your story is very powerful. You've been through a lot in your life, and it's time for you to share." And I was like, "What? Share what? Who? What?" And so I went back to New York, and I was like, "All right, Doña Fela, I don't know what you want me to do." And at that point, I didn't realize that I was spiritually gifted as I am. And I felt like her spirit went into my body, and I just started typing, and just the words started forming into sentences. Sentences started forming into paragraphs. Paragraphs formed into a book. So it took me a whole year to write my first book. The second book, Your Life, Your Purpose. Well, this book, 365 Days of Affirmations for the Mind, Heart, Body, and Spirit. It took me 6 years to write this book.
Really?
Yeah. The reason why it took 6 years is because in 2014, I was battling with, am I gay? Am I straight? Am I gay? Am I straight? Of course, gay won. And I was creating affirmations on Facebook of how I was feeling with battling in my mind and in my heart and in my spirit. And the more affirmations I created, I was like, well, let me just post it on Facebook because maybe somebody else would want to, they want to know about this, or maybe they need an answer to a prayer or something. So I did that for about 3 years, and something told me, my spirit told me, copy and paste all of the affirmations and email it to yourself.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I guess, whatever. Spirit's talking to me. I didn't find that email until 2019. I was clearing out my Gmail and it says affirmation book. And I'm like, what is this? And I went in, it was over, how much was it? It was 86 pages of affirmations I'd created. And so it's
Wow.
187 affirmations, and I'm going through them. I'm like, oh my God, I grew so much from this. I remember that. I remember that. And so it was pretty much different experiences that I've been through that I've turned into affirmations.
Right.
And so I said to myself, you know what? Since it's 187, let me just go straight for 365. And I just started creating more affirmations,
Keep going.
refining the old affirmations because I'd grown, like I said, and I came up with 365. So that's how that happens. And it
Wow.
was at a
So
point.
I when I met you, you had that one. I remember that one.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea the story
Mm-hmm.
behind it.
Yep.
That is very inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
That is very inspiring because I'm a firm believer in journaling. And
Mm-hmm.
so I keep all of my journals and I go back and same thing like you did with your emails, like, oh man, yeah, I remember this.
And some affirmations, I don't remember writing them. And
Wow.
some people they'll send me like a picture of affirmation of the book from the book, and they'd be like, oh, this really touched my heart space this morning. Thank you. And I'd be like, what is this? And they're like, you wrote it. I'm like, I wrote that? Well, goddamn, okay. And so it's that kind of way. So it took me 6 years because at that point I was going through a very deep spiritual ascension, a journey. And I was shown by my mama Isis, spiritual Egyptian goddess Isis, parts of myself that I didn't heal. And I thought that I was doing deep healing, but as a matter of fact, I was doing surface healing.
Okay.
So I was speaking and talking and sharing and coaching, but at the same time, parts of me was like, hello, hi, you're not done yet. What the hell you think you're doing? You can't help these people.
Mm-hmm.
And a client came to me one time when I was living in Savannah, and she was going through her own ascension process. And because I hadn't been through mine, I didn't know how to help her at all. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just felt helpless. I couldn't help her. And then my journey started, and I was shown parts of myself that needed work. Like, I was shown that I didn't forgive the 20 something year old for the promiscuity that happens in my life. And when she showed it to me, I got sick to my stomach, like, oh my God, girl, you damaged your body like that. You mistreated yourself like that. Like, what the hell was wrong with you?
What were you thinking?
Um,
Weren't thinking? Weren't
yeah.
thinking.
She showed me how I did not forgive myself for the miscarriages that I had because I blamed myself for losing my babies. And I had to go through the process of asking my babies to forgive me for not doing right by them because I thought it was my fault. And I had to come to terms with the fact that everything happens in life for a reason, and things that happen to me happen for me and not to me. And so, being healer, coach, speaker, light worker, author, I'm able to share my experiences. So when people do come to me for help, I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what you've been through. I know the pain, the suffering, the hurt, I know all of it because I've been there.
Right.
So she showed me there were certain people in my life that I needed to forgive. She showed me the younger me that was still in pain, still hurting. She showed me all of that, and she held me like a mother would hold a child. And so I was able to experience unconditional love on a spiritual level by my mama Isis. And she made sure that she kept me covered and safe during the process. And because at one point through my ascension, I felt like I was going crazy because it was so much that was coming up, and I was having panic attacks, hyperventilating, like all that stuff. And I remember one day I was in bed crying. I couldn't stop crying. And I was listening to Lisa Nichols. And Lisa Nichols says something so profound. I woke up to myself. I woke up to myself, and I was like,
Mm.
shit, like it hit me at a ton of bricks, and I cried some more. And I was like, damn, like I woke up. That's what I'm doing. I'm waking up to myself, and I'm covering parts of me that I was afraid to confront
Yeah.
because I didn't want to go through the pain. I didn't want to go through the feelings of it. And I had to have conversations with certain people. And because I was stubborn and wasn't obedient, I ended up having a lump in my throat. Like, not a physical, but just like a spiritual
Like
lump.
your
Like every
voice.
time I didn't speak my truth, it
Yep.
would pop up. If someone was like, oh, are you okay? And I'd lie and be like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Lump popped up. And it was like her and my ancestors was like, okay, you don't want to say shit. We're going to give you this so you can speak. So every time I
Mhm.
didn't speak and I didn't say anything, I would get a lump in my throat and I would end up throwing up. I got really, really, I lost a lot of weight. I got really, really sick. And then they started showing me different foods that I had to stop eating.
Okay.
So fruits and vegetables, yogurt, water, that was my whole regimen. Oatmeal. I had to knock out meats and processed food, all that stuff. I had to knock all that out.
Right.
And I had to have conversations with my parents. And that was like the hardest thing ever because I was so used to sacrificing my comfort level and making myself uncomfortable for the comfort of others. So I
Mhm.
had to have a conversation with my mom, my dad, and it was really tough, but I said what I had to say. And after that, the lump went away. And that's how I learned that I needed to speak up and speak out and express myself and not be in a space of where, oh my God, what's this person going to think or say? And that's something that I kind of still struggle with today, but not as much as I did back then.
Right.
And my body was being beat up because I had all these and this energy inside my body for not speaking, for not standing up for
I'm
myself.
glad you mentioned that because I say that all the time that spiritual um, ailments and issues that you have will manifest in your physical body and you
Oh
will become
yeah,
physically ill.
yeah. And so
Absolutely.
that's why, people are like, oh, depression, anxiety, this, that, next, and the third. It just pops out of nowhere. No, it doesn't pop out of nowhere. It's things that you're not saying, things that you're not expressing.
Not stressing
You're
it.
not. It's manifesting inside of the body, and your body is giving you a message like, pay attention to me, take care of me, love me, something.
Yeah,
And the more that we ignore it, the more that we don't pay attention to internal things that we need to fix and work on externally, and we pay attention to external things, the more we suffer.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's how this book was birthed, because I went through that process and I share just different things of life that I experienced from like a baby till, when did I write it? I was 40, 42, 43. So give or take. So yeah, that's why I created this book, because I wanted to create a book of affirmations that was just like, I didn't want it to be affirmations like I am love and I'm beautiful. No, I wanted to be like, I'm gonna punch you in the face if you don't get this shit right.
You
Because
messing up.
literally, that's how the book is. Like, for instance, I don't know, give me a number for 1 to 365.
Let's do right now. The time is 8:28. Well, we don't have that. I'm sorry. So let's split it in half. 320. 323.
323. All
Yeah.
right. So 323 says, my inner healing leads me to long term happiness as I'm doing the work to get to where I want to be in my life. So,
Absolutely.
affirmations like that. My favorite, which is 45,
Okay.
is it says, I was built to be unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable. There is nothing big or small I can't handle or overcome. So these are the kinds of affirmations that I wrote. This one says, being selfish means making myself my top priority over everyone and everything else instead of putting myself last.
Love it. Those
Yeah.
of you watching in the chat, Denise and Miss Cancer, thank you and welcome. Those are two of my mods. If you would like your affirmation, put your number in the chat.
Yes, absolutely. Put the number in the
Put your
chat.
number in the chat. She'll be more than willing to share that with you. If
Absolutely.
you were interested in that.
For
Um,
sure. For sure. I journal my dreams and go back, and they are very effective. Absolutely. So then this year I wrote these two books actually last month, and it took me 3 days to write each book.
wow. Okay.
I always say
So
talk
you
about
so you went from 6 years to 3 days.
me.
Love it.
Exactly.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
So I always say write about what you know. And
Mhm.
I went ahead and I said, okay, my near death experience, what are some things that I learned from it? What was the lessons that I learned? And I had 8 lessons that I came up with, 8 things that popped up into my mind. And then this one is what were the lessons I learned from healing from sexual abuse? What was the lessons? And so I went ahead and I did that as well. And so with the lessons that I came up with is just how I wrote the book. And so it's like when you write about the things that you know, the experiences that you've been through, it's an easy process because it
It
flows
is.
naturally, as opposed,
Because you lived it. Yeah.
right, as opposed to something you don't know about and you're doing research. This was just effortless. So it took 3 days. Like each book was 3 days. And it took like, I don't know, one day to get the cover and everything the way I wanted it to on Amazon. And then it took about 72 hours to have it published on Amazon. But I went through the process of formatting it, having
Okay.
it formatting it. I don't know how to format shit, so I stay in my lane. So I had you gotta know when to stay in your lane.
Be willing to get help when you need help.
Yes, I went to Fiverr. I found somebody. They went ahead and they were like, I said, just format this. What is it? $15. Like, here's your 15. Just not
Yeah.
that. Thank you. And I got it
Yeah.
formatted. So this one, eight lessons my near-death experience taught me is pretty much what I learned when I was on my deathbed in 2011 from fibroids. I almost died from fibroids. It got infected. The infection was spreading to my uterus, and then it spread to my bladder. I couldn't pee. They had to put a catheter in me. Was pregnant with twins. The twins did not develop. So I had an empty sac, and so I had to have a DNC. So when I had my DNC done, they just numbed me, and they were like, "Oh, you're not gonna feel anything." I felt every fucking thing, everything. So I kind of know what it feels like when you have an abortion, sort of, kind of, because they had to take out the empty sac and they
Girl,
suctioned
they
it
have,
out.
ooh,
Yeah, and I was awake the whole
you were
time.
awake.
I was
Oh my
awake.
God.
And the doctor was like, "Oh my God, you're a rock star." I'm like, "Bitch, I will kick your ass," because this shit, it hurt. And from that, it was a domino effect. The fibroid, the biggest one that was behind my uterus on the outside, got infected. And I was pretty much going through the process of going sepsis at one point, right? So I woke up on the 12th day. My lips were blue, body gray. I was looking at my hand like, wow, okay, I'm gray. Okay, I'm gonna die. And so I was the woulda shoulda girl. I was on my deathbed going, I should have did this. I should have said that. Why didn't I do this? How come I didn't do that? Hey, Justin. How come I did not set myself up better? And now that I'm here in this hospital bed, I can't move. I was crying for days on end. And it taught me a valuable lesson that not to wait until something drastic happens to really live your life out loud, to truly be who you are. And once I did that, and I had the surgery, I told myself when I get out this hospital, I'm going to do better for myself.
Right.
And I had a spiritual experience being in a hospital, like just something shifted in my energy and my spirit. And I came to the realization of, like men, love them, they're great, but they're not for me. And so I had to make a conscious decision to love my ex-husband enough to walk away from him, love him enough to let him go, so I can be truthful to myself. And that's when my truthful journey began in 2011. So I came out at 40.
Okay.
40 years old. That was 5 years ago.
That's big.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is real big.
I had
Because
to prepare myself for the scrutiny and the judgment that came with it. Came with a lot.
because we came up in a different time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't want to say that it's easier
Mm-hmm.
for young people, but the world's a lot more accepting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For the most part. The
Yeah.
world is a lot more accepting. When I came out, it was I learned who my friends were. I learned who my family was. I learned how cruel society can be. And I remember one time I was talking to my dad and I told him, I said, if I wasn't emotionally, mentally, and spiritually strong as I am, I would have jumped off a fucking bridge, because the amount of stuff that was told to me in this process. You're so beautiful to be a lesbian. Oh my God. You know what? Why? What
That
may
even
hurt
mean?
you? Were you abused as a child? Like all these things. I was just like, well, damn. You can't just say I'm happy for you and keep it moving, or don't say shit at all and just leave me
Don't
alone.
say anything.
Right.
That's how you
So
feel.
right. So
Oh my
when I
God.
tell you, it was a lot for me to, come to terms with it, accept myself first of all, and I did it big. Like I had a whole photo shoot. I had lesbian here, freedom here, and I just posted it on Facebook. I didn't care at that point. I was like, fuck it. You like me, you don't, you don't. And this is who I am as a person, a spiritual being having a human experience, a woman who loves women. And that's just it. So for me, it was just like, okay, fine. But people who know me know that I'm very extravagant. When I do shit, is either go big or go home. We're not the other. There's no in between.
Right.
And that was me. So when I wrote these books, I knew that it was going to come with something. And I actually am a vendor here in New York at the marketplace in New York, and I get to see the different expressions of people. So when they see 7 lessons that healing from sexual abuse taught me, it's like,
whoa, wait a minute.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's just being able to have the ability to express myself in a different way through writing and sharing my experience, because I do have a servant's heart. I know that I'm here to teach and share my experiences and things that I've been through. And so I use all of the experiences, especially the really, really tough experiences, as gifts, because they are gifts to me anyway. And so, like I said, if a person comes to me like, okay, well, Phoenix, I need help with XYZ, ABC, I could be like, all right, bet. Boom. You do this, you do this, you do that. I know exactly how you feel. I went through the same thing too. I know exactly how to navigate through the process.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just it.
It's simple.
Because people are suffering in silence. People are going through it in so many different ways. And people are on their knees praying to God of their own understanding for a prayer, a word, a message, something. So if these can help somebody, then I've done what I was supposed to do.
Absolutely. And it happens more than it's talked about. And I hate to bring this up because it's been kind of hushed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. Did you see there was what was it? It was a play, I believe it was, with
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears,
Yeah, I
where
saw that. I saw
okay,
that. Mm-hmm.
and I watched most of it. I did not see the entire thing. I only saw clips.
Mm-hmm.
And what I saw was things that happened often and are still happening to children, family members, and friends. And to me, and I felt like the outrage was misplaced. And I
Mm-hmm.
posted that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you're mad at the actors, but what about your uncle or your aunt or your parents who did this to you, or
Yep.
someone that you know?
Yep.
Why aren't you mad at them?
Yep. Absolutely. Because I know when I spoke my truth when I was about 17, 18 years old about being abused, I had a family member come and say, oh, why you had to tell the family secret? It happened to me and it happened to that person. And we're not saying, I said, because there's
She
a little
spoke
boy and a
up.
little girl in the
Mhm,
closet crying somewhere. There's a teenager trying to slit his or her wrist because he or she hates herself because of what happened to them. There's
mhm,
a girl or guy out there over there being a prostitute because of what happened to them.
mhm.
So if I'm the one that's supposed to share this, and I'll just live with the consequences.
You give someone that your testimony is going to be enough, or I'm sure it has been multiple times, because I've had it come to me. I've some things happen to me that I've shared, and it's like, your story is going to help give that next person the courage to speak up too. It's like, well, she could do it,
Absolutely.
and I can do it, and no, this is not okay, and I'm not by myself, and I don't have to shut up.
Yep. You don't have to shut up. You have a mouth, open it, Your
Mhm.
throat chakra is not blocked. So open your mouth and say what you need to say, because so many times people in life take their last breath with regret. I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and at that point it's too late. There's nothing you could do about it because you're going to transition to the next life, or you may repeat the same life until you get the
You're right.
lesson correct. So
Mhm.
for me, it's like I only have one life right now in this lifetime. I'm actually living my second chance at life, so I'm not going to waste it sitting here trying to wonder like, okay, well, who's going to get upset with me because I wrote this book? Because I know
Not,
my first
not
book,
my
my mom
problem.
was tired.
Oh,
My
you
mother
mad?
was
Okay,
highly
good.
upset.
Then that means I ruffled your feathers. I stepped on some toes if you're upset. Because if it
Right,
has nothing to do with you, then you shouldn't be mad about it.
right. I know the first book, my mother was highly upset. Oh my God. And my grandmother was upset. I'm like, y'all will be okay at the end of the day. And my
Hmm.
grandmother was like, well, next time you wrote a book, you need to do this. I say, let me ask you a question. Have you written a book? No. All right. So leave me alone. With all due respect, grandma, with all due respect.
I love
Or,
you and everything, but
right. Or when I
yeah,
came out, it was like, I love you, but I'll love you more if you turn back to the person I raised. I'm like, I'm still that person.
yeah,
I
absolutely,
just love women. That's it.
absolutely. That's it.
So, and I told her, I said, I'm coming to you. At that time, I was 40. I said, I'm coming to you as a 40-year-old. I'm not coming to you as a 4-year-old 24-year-old, or even 34-year-old. So you're going to respect me. You may not like my life, but you're going to respect me. That's it, because that's what you taught me, respect, right? So
That's
that's what
right.
it is about. So sometimes we have to be able to check family members and just let them know, like, look, if this is
About you.
the abilities that you've helped me to grow into, if these are the lessons you taught me growing up, why can't they apply to me now when I'm choosing to live my life how I see fit? Because you're embarrassed, because you're ashamed.
That's exactly what it is. They
Mm-hmm.
don't want anyone to know.
Right. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna tell it, whatever.
Yeah, it happened to me. And if
Exactly. It
you are
happened to
involved,
me.
then you and your God have to get that together.
Yeah.
Get
I
it right
just say,
together.
yeah, I just say God of my own understanding, or universe, or whatever. So Miss Cancer, she said number day 121. So it says, woo, you really you want me to read this?
Let her hear it.
It says, my healing is ugly, painful, scary, and uncomfortable, but also beautiful, powerful, and very necessary for my growth.
That's her.
That's her.
That's her. She,
121.
she's my hard-headed one.
That's what it says. My healing is ugly, painful, scary, and uncomfortable, but also beautiful and powerful and very necessary for my growth. Because that's what it is. Once you make a decision to commit to healing yourself every single day, you can never go back to who you used to be. It's impossible to go back to who you used to be,
Nope.
regardless of how hard or uncomfortable it is or how you're feeling in the moments. Because I know I still have my moments. Like recently, I just realized that my dark shadow side, the vengeful, manipulative, spiteful, petty side of me, like I locked that chick up and I threw her in the back of my subconscious in a fucking straitjacket with some shackles. And now I'm just like, oh shit, I remembered about her now. She because she popped up 2 years ago and I didn't want to deal with the bitch. So I was like, just go back there. But I still have some of her mannerisms and her ways. And it made me realize that that's why I'm overly giving and overly compassionate and overly loving and overly joyful and overly respectful, because I don't want that. I can be that,
Exactly.
but I don't want that, because once I become that, then I become overly manipulative and vengeful and spiteful and, fuck you and whatever, and your mama too, and I don't care. So for me, it's just like being
Justin
able
said, wait, that's not a day. Day 68. Too many days, Justin. Too many.
68. Oh my God, Justin, really?
I understand completely. I have to remind people, like, listen, I know y'all look at me and Lex is love and light, but I set it off in this month too.
That part.
But let's not forget.
That part. So it's just, reminding people, I've been told, like, I do the nice nasty. I cuss people out with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
I do, and I don't allow people to take my power, because I've done it so long in my life. I was such a people pleaser. People could do whatever the hell they want to do to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I pay attention and I look at your mannerisms. I'm quiet and I'm sweet.
Yeah.
But when I come at you,
mm-hmm.
it's like very, very nice, nasty, like in a respectful manner. You're going to be like, did she cuss me out? Wait, hold on. She did cuss me the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
But she was nice doing it, so I can't be mad at her with it. So day 68 says, I honor my integrity and my authenticity by no longer doing things that do not align with my heart and spirit. That's what that says. That's you, Justin. 68. So that's what I'm saying. The affirmations are very much like, I had to really think about and process how I wanted to write affirmations, because I said I didn't want it to just be all love and light.
Yeah,
like I really
want to be just general anything you
nah.
can. Yeah, I get it.
Because I know when I read affirmations, I want to be moved.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to slap me in my face and be like, damn, that hurt. But yeah, you're right. So that's how that came about, writing those affirmations.
When I do my spiritual workings, personal and even the community ones, like some people was like, you do more for community working than I do, because I want to make sure everyone is in the right mind frame of when I'm doing this, or else then you're wasting my energy and your money for me doing this. So everybody, like, I'm going to do the work, but you got work to do too.
Absolutely.
And so I tell them all the time, look, here are some suggestions. please feel free. If I give them a prayer, please feel free to add, take away, and tweak it to how it fits you, because that's in the beauty of root work and hoodoo, what I practice, and whatever spiritual rituals that you do, is making it as personal as possible. Yeah, you can go get a spell recipe somewhere, but you got to make it fit you.
Absolutely. And it has to be about intention too, because if you're not setting the intention, it's not going to work. That magic is just going to be like, okay, well, here's selenite. And look, you use the selenite. Okay, how do I use the selenite? What prayers do I use with the selenite? What's the mantras? What's the, whatever. So it's definitely setting the intention when you're doing affirmations, spell work, whatever it is you're doing, is setting the intention with your whole heart. Mm-hmm. Oh, she said, Miss Cancer says she felt attacked. I'm sorry.
Justice said, girl, same. Listen, sorry. She got me together on her live last week, so I'm gonna let her.
I was trying to. Mama Isis was like, "Yo, you're gonna have to tell Lex I said such and such." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." They talk. You know how it is. Yeah. When they speak, we have to give the message.
You have to. That's right.
I don't want my ass to be handed to me on the plate like you. I've learned my lessons many times. Like, oh,
listen, you better move. Right. You're gonna be made very uncomfortable if you are disobedient.
There you go.
I'm a witness, Miss Cancer. You're gonna be very uncomfortable if you were disobedient.
I kid you not. It's just one of those things. Sure. But yeah, so besides doing being an author, I'm also a writing consultant. So I help people who want to be first-time authors, or who just want to write a book in general, go through the process of writing and publishing the book from beginning to end. So helping them with the title, with the content, the topics, helping them to figure out what the book is going to be based on, writing styles, writing strategies, and helping them to get the cover together, the design together, how they want it to be formatted, stuff like that, and also help them with publishing. And publishing can be done on Amazon as well as Lulu. So I help them with the process too. And then I help them figure out ways how to monetize their book, because some indie authors, they'll be like, oh yeah, I wrote this book. And the book will sit there, because it happened to me. My first book had a big old launch party, did it for like 3-4 months, and the book is right there. And a friend of mine was like, why are you not monetizing on your book? I'm like, well, what do you mean? And they were like, girl, that's your sweat and your tears and your this and your that and blah, 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 blah. You need to make that book work for you. So now with my books, I make sure that I find ways to monetize, like going to being a vendor at the street markets here in New York. Absolutely. Or
Denise is an author as well. Gypsy Kisses and Voodoo Wishes, I believe it's on Amazon. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Denise.
Denise asked for day 44. That 44 been following me all over the dang place, but okay, here we go. It says, I remind myself daily that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I am being prepared for something powerful. So that's what it says. I remind myself daily that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and that I am being prepared for something powerful.
Girl, you gonna make me cut a step in here.
I swear sometimes
when I do shouting shoes on.
Right. Every time I do this, like when I tell a person to pick a number, all the time it's like, are you doing an oracle card reading? I'm like, no, I'm just giving you an affirmation.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
It's constant all the time. Whenever someone's like, okay, well, let me, what number from what to what, and they'll give me a number, and 9 times out of 10, it'll be exactly what they're going through.
Yes,
all the time.
It's coming, Denise.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, as a writing consultant, that's what I do. I just help people learn how to write, publish, and monetize their book. And in different ways, we can be creative and come up with stuff like maybe create a webinar through the book, and you could make money that way. Also, like autograph copies always work. You could do like a discounted rate autograph copies, which is always a good thing, because where do you know that you can get an author to author your autograph your book for you? If they're not famous or whatever, they're just gonna write something. But if you know what I mean, so make it more personalized.
Yeah.
The other thing too is you can make small bite-sized books like these, and monetize off of them. These are $10. I sold like 4 of these today and one of these today at the marketplace. The other day I sold like 3, 5, or whatever, so you
Yeah,
always, you're still making money.
making money.
Right. Also too, you could just become like a freelance writer or contributing writer for blogs, online magazines. You can find writing positions and things like that because you have the experience to write.
Yeah.
You can create a blog for yourself. You can even turn your book into a podcast, and you can bring people onto your podcast and so on and so forth. So there's so many different ways of monetizing your book. Your book should not just be sitting on the shelf collecting dust, because
Right.
this is your hard work that you put into it. So, and you can do things like this. I teach them how to pitch because I used to do public relations and social media marketing. So I know how to pitch the magazines and podcasts and things like that, and how to align authors with podcasters, online magazines, and things like that. And it's easy because it's like, okay, well, I wrote this book and I know that your podcast is based on affirmations and my book is on affirmations. Would this be something appealing to your audience so they can learn lessons and take away something? And then you do it like that. So that's the stuff that I teach as a writing consultant. I take you through the process from beginning to end.
That's good. And
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing this personally. You're not giving them a YouTube PowerPoint or
Nope.
a slideshow,
Nope.
girl.
Nope. No, like either I do a
People be
workshop.
killing me every time I see these ads. I'll be rolling my eyes like ain't nobody finna be paying you no money to send them no damn slideshow.
Yeah. Want to charge them $4.97 for a damn slideshow. So for me, what I do is I either do like a group workshop or I do a one-on-one. So the group workshop sometimes I do anywhere like from 37 to 97, and the one-on-one I do 97 to like 197, depending on the size of the book, what the book is going to be about, and so on and so forth. And we do it like that. But it's like I try to give them like bite-sized morsels, because to give someone a whole kit and caboodle all at one time, it makes no sense. So I would do like 3 to 4 different consulting sessions.
Right.
So the first one will be like, okay, like why do you want to write the book? Why do you feel it's time? Are you sharing your life story? Like, what is the book about? And for me, I'm a master expert in sharing life stories. I'm a very perfect, exceptional storyteller. I can tell a story. So I help you tell your story in a very effective way where it leaves a lasting impression on whoever's reading your book.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to read it and think that you're talking to them.
And that's it, because then they're going to share it with everyone else.
Absolutely. So the book can be where you can write a book in 3 days like I did, or 6 days, or 60 years. It just depends on what the book is about. What's the message that you want to convey to your audience? That's what it's boiled down to.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have any other questions unless the people in the chat does. But while we're giving them time, I want you to share your experience on how you got your name.
Oh, so Phoenix Sky, or Phoenix rather. Last year I was making spiritual bracelets in my house in Savannah. All right, Justin, take care, boo. Talk to you later. Love and light. He said his husband just got home, so he gonna jump off. All right, go on.
I understand, child. My man home.
So I was making bracelets and I heard "Emerge from the ashes like a phoenix rising, my beloved daughter." And I was like, wait, what? Who? And then Mama Isis said it again. She was like, "Emerge from the ashes like a phoenix rising, my beloved daughter." And I was like, okay, bet. Phoenix it is. So I went on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. I changed it to Phoenix, and everybody started calling me Phoenix at that point. And it's just pretty much because I'm resilient. I'm a master rising from the ashes professional. I've done it so many freaking times in my life. Near-death experiences, miscarriages, abuse, you name it. I've been through that and then some. So I'm able to rise up as many times as possible. When I fall, I get back up. I fall, I get back up. So it's fitting for me anyway. And Sky, my god brother, he hit me up one time. I've been making bracelets and crystal pendants and keychains. All right, well, see, there you go. Look at you, Miss Cancer.
Now you got to get out there and push them and sell them.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid of competition. Don't compare yourself to anybody, because your work is your work. Your energy is your energy. All right. And your spirit guides are going to lead you on this path of how you're supposed to do it, and then they'll send the people to you that's supposed to be there. So like say for instance you go and you're at a marketplace or a fair or a pop-up, and there's other people who are doing the same thing you do. Don't be afraid to show your work.
That's right.
And what you do is you tell the story behind the reason why you're doing what you're doing. That right there will help people. It'll solidify the sale for you.
Right.
You solidify the sale for you in that way.
Yes.
And
Oh,
so
wonderful. She said, I've been selling them. She and her son have been selling.
yay!
Yay!
Happy.
Auntie, can I light the candle?
Yes, you can light the candle, my niece. I light candles in her room, and now she's so used to like, Auntie, can I light the candle? Can I light the candle? Can I light, yeah, you can light the candle. Don't set the house on fire, but yeah, you can light the candle. Can I light the candle? I'm like, all right.
Fire.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's how the name came about, and it's fitting. It suits who I am as a spiritual being, having this human experience, like I said, and I was spiritually initiated at that point by Mama Isis because she's given me so many gifts and abilities, and you know my talent has stretched beyond measure. And the story is my baby started having night terrors when I made the pendant. They stopped. Oh, see, that's the story. Perfect. And people are going to be like, well, shit, if he stopped having nightmares, I need like 3 or 4 of them. Give me them. Let me cop them real quick. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I love it. Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
So Mama Isis has helped me like with giving me guidance on what herbs to use to make my spiritual bath soaks that I would use. I would make candles, bracelets, shower gels, lotions, body sprays, protection spray, money spray, the whole 9 yards. So I had a whole line, which I'll start over with again eventually. So I'm in the process of just humble beginnings and doing things over in a different type of way, which, like I said, you know, I'm an expert in starting over. I've started over 500 million times. And so got to do it.
Life is just going to be a bunch of endings and new beginnings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. For sure.
Absolutely. Do not be afraid of closed doors because the next one's going to be open. Don't be afraid of losing people because everyone can't go with you.
Nope, they're not. And I dropped so many people. That's one thing that I did in 2020. I sat with myself and I had a notebook. One side I had those who treat you like an option, and the other side is those who treat you like priority. The list of options outweighed the list of priorities. So I blocked and deleted all those people because at the end of the day, I realized they were draining my energy and sucking my light.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
absolutely. I have to right now. I know I got to slowly.
And it's a difficult thing. You got to mourn the loss of the people in your life that you no longer align with or no longer serving you or you know, the friendships, relationships, family ships, whatever is not working no more. And it's okay. Maybe down the line they may come back or maybe not. But for right now,
it's not working.
Yeah. For your elevation, if it's not working, it's not working. And it's okay. It is okay.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and close this out. This was amazing. We have to do this more often.
No problem. No problem at all. No problem. You got to come on to my lives on Tuesday too. So we can, you know, have your expertise and your gifts and reading and so on and so forth. And I think Mama Isis loves you because she was like, you need to read the whole thing for Lex. I'm like, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And I listen. And that's the 2 people's part of what I was told. So I'm like, yeah, I know I'm doing it. I'm doing it. But those of you just coming in or watching after the fact, thank you so much for being here. My mods, Miss Cancer and Miss Denise, who were on, everyone else. I love you so, so much. Make sure that you check out the comments. I'm going to do it right now so that I do not forget for the promo codes and the link to the website so you can get those. And I'm going to be dropping other little giveaways and hidden gems that I can't speak on just yet. But you got to keep watching and stay tuned. So until next time, I love you. Take care.